I'm Ruby. How are you guys going tonight? Oh my God. This is me in uni in a solar car. Pretty fun. We drove it from Darwin to Adelaide, 3,000 kilometers. Has anybody seen the Bridgestone World Solar Challenge? It's great. This little car has 4 by 4 meters squared of gallium arsenide space-based solar cells on it. It's powering like a 250 kilogram carbon fiber chassis. And it slaps. It went up to 130 kilometers per hour. It was great. And it was designed and built by me and about 30 other engineering students with no expertise at all in less than a year. And I'm convinced that these kind of student projects are pretty much like the early stage engagement pipeline for StartMate, because by the time you come out of that, you end up being pretty addicted to fast-paced hardware challenges. I did try corporate for a hot minute. It was a bit of a mistake, but that's fine. I was designing and building renewable development projects across Australia, which is really cool and really interesting. You'd think when you're placing the projects, like the #1 drive for any project location would be like, is it windy over here? Is it sunny over here? Where's the demand point? It's not how it works at all. It's pretty much, where are we going to put this renewable energy project so that its grid connection is possible without making the project economically unfeasible, which is one of the #1 reasons renewable energy projects don't go ahead. The grid is the #1 bottleneck in Australia and across the globe for us accelerating our renewable development. And it takes like 10 years to build a transmission line, which would open up new locations for us. And meanwhile, we expect to spend $21 trillion in our energy infrastructure in order to keep up for demand by 2040. So I felt like I was really on the wrong side of a very big pain point. The only thing keeping me sane was a StartMate fellowship, which, word to the wise, I applied for the day after it was due. Still got in, still kept me sane. Renewables by day, learning about startups by night. Ended up at a Blackbird Sunrise event when I was at a bit of a loose end. Thinking about the grid problem a lot, thinking how I want to be into startups. And I hear sort of wafting over the crowd, I'm in a big crowd, somebody talking about, well, you can use optical power beaming for, wireless energy transfer. And I was like, what in the deep tech is this, And I elbow my way 5 people deep. And I always say, Billy, the founder of Aquila, he found the idea. I found Billy. And I was like, how does it work? When do we start? What are we doing? And what we're doing is we're developing an energy network of light. We use optical power beaming and photovoltaic receivers to transmit energy from where it is generated to where it is needed in the right quantity and at the right time. It's an entirely new way of thinking about energy. It's paradigm-shifting technology. It means that we can make energy something that is deliverable and instantaneous and omnipresent. It's the same kind of jump like from dial-up internet to Wi-Fi, but for charging things and moving energy about like grid infrastructure level scale. And that's our vision, that we see an energy infrastructure without wires and without limits. Our first product is enabling perpetual flight for drones. You can see here we've got a ground-based transmitter. It directs optical light. It's invisible to the naked eye. It's IR. And we send it to a really highly specialized photovoltaic receiver that transmits the optical power to electrical power, really similar to how the sun shines on the solar panels on your roof every day. It's just that, in this analogy, we are both the sun and we're the solar panels. Very cool. And so we started in 2022. We got moving. We had some great designs, some of which is still very much present today. And we learned pretty quickly that the level of buy-in and customer excitement we have for this technology was like totally unprecedented. We started working with partners like Surf Lifesaving New Zealand. And within a year, we were demoing. But we were reaching what felt like kind of like a ceiling when it came to our tech development. We were trying to integrate subsystems before they were ready, because we were trying to get ready for these demonstrations to get these excited customers to see the tech, and we were developing across Australia and New Zealand at the same time, which wouldn't recommend for hardware. Plus, our systems weren't scaling to power fast enough. And so we made a really hard decision, and we brought all of the team over to Australia. That meant that we halved the number of people in the company. We reset on quite a few of our tech designs, and we had to totally rebuild our testing facilities. But the learning there was essentially that we did it in about 2 months, and we should have done it in 2 weeks. If you know what the right call is, you need to make it and implement it as quickly as possible, and that will lead to the least amount of pain. Because we made more progress in the 6 months after that than we had made in the entire year before. We hired team members that had their own gravity for future talent and for engineering process. We ignored sunk cost fallacy when it came to building up our new designs. And it meant that we had integrated systems that had 10 times the power and 300 times the precision. And so we're continuing on with our really great team with this same process, which is essentially the deep tech development cycle, break the next weakest thing in the tech stack and work on that for a while until the next thing breaks, and then work on that for a while. And you get to a point when you look back and you can have a whole long list of impossible things that you've achieved, and that builds the justification and the motivation and the momentum for why you can achieve the next most impossible things. Aquila has now, we were aiming for demonstrating 300 watts in 300 meters. Now we have achieved 300 watts. We've achieved 800 meters of optical distance, sending our laser beam that long. We've got a $12.5 million sales pipeline, and we've got product demonstrations with some of our dream customers at the end of the year, including the Australian Federal Police and the ADF. What's more is we realized not 2 weeks ago that we are about 6 months closer to perpetual flight than we expected to be. It's the closest I'll ever come to time travel. We're 6 months in the future now. And it means that next year, we are going to be able to demonstrate a drone in the air until the drone breaks. We'll charge it the entire time it's up, which is huge for us. And it essentially is the showcase for a future of aviation without aviation fuel and without jet engine noise. Marrickville's house prices are going to skyrocket. So keep your eyes peeled. Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.